Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of The Foolish Fish, Esoteric News with your weekly updates on the worlds of esoteric and occult book publishing and arts and events and paraphernalia. Thank you once again for joining me. I am very excited to be once again sponsored by miskatonicbooks.com. Thank you so much, miskatonicbooks.com, for everything that you do for us people who love esoteric and occult books, finding those rare gems, those books that have been out of publishing, out of print for a very long time, and those very newly published books that are just difficult to find in general. And Miskatonic Books have got a fantastic array of various publishers from around the world that they retail directly from their website at miskatonicbooks.com, including, for instance, serious esoterica titles. So Serious Limited Esoterica is a new a new publisher that they are featuring, and to celebrate the edition of Serious Limited Esoterica, they have made available the books from this publisher on miskatonicbooks.com for 20% off, and for a limited amount of time. So I'm recording this on Thursday, 13th of June. This offer lasts until Friday, 14th of June. So even those of you who are not Foolish Fish members, who are not seeing this on Thursday, if you're seeing this on Friday, you still have an opportunity to go over to miskatonicbooks.com to pick up one of these very cool looking books from Serious Limited Esoterica with a very significant discount, right? Very, very cool prices there for these interesting looking books. Okay, we've got news from Hadean Press. It's very exciting sounding little pamphlet. It's one of these guides to the underworld pamphlets that Hadean Press do, and it's the Grimoire of Pius V, a conjuration of Astaroth. It's a translation of a curious text taken from the publication, I'm not going to try, Handwritten Treasures from Monastery Libraries, putatively published in Cologne in 1734, and here translated and introduced by Robert Nixon, Father Robert Nixon, who's actually made quite a few of these guides to the underworld. Very, very knowledgeable, very, very cool information here from Father Robert Nixon, OSB. Though the attribution of Pius V cannot be credited, the conjuration displays a detailed knowledge of liturgy and theology and a certain elaborateness and precision, which indicates that whoever produced it did so with all earnestness. This is clearly the work of a genuine student of the occult, and almost certainly a Roman Catholic priest, most likely dating from the 17th century. Now, I know that I'm not the only one to be extremely excited about this particular one. Very affordable, as always, with these guides to the underworld. You can get the hard copy, the little stapled pamphlet, for £3, or you can go ahead and grab the ebook, presumably, although I can't actually see it right now, the option for the ebook, because I'm showing this to you from the news. If I go over to Shop Our Guides, let's go to Shop Our Guides over here, and we should be able to have a look at the quick view over here. Okay, and here it is as an EPUB edition. So now you know how to get it as an EPUB edition if you prefer to save on the shipping and receive it immediately at for a quarter of a cup of coffee or whatever. Okay, all right, let's have a look. We've got news from Lewis Masonic also, who have just published The Life and Death of John Yarker. I've been so interested in this one because my grandmother, who was abandoned as a child And so we don't know very much about her family, but she was Jocelyn Olga Yarker, born in the north of England. And I'm just very, very curious. We did a little bit of digging when I found out that the life and death of John Yarker was being published. I did a little digging, and some very kind viewers helped me to work out that that yes, it's not impossible that John Yarker would have been my grandmother's great uncle. So yeah, it's very, very cool stuff for me, right? I'm just obviously very interested. But beyond this, John Yarker actually had a hand in the growth of much of Freemasonry in England during his time, and so a very, very important figure and very interesting figure to read about. I'm really, really looking forward to having a read of the entire book. Yeah, very, very exciting stuff. So let's see Yarker's orders, societies and rites, including the Society of Eight, Sat Baha'i, the Swedenborgian Rite, the Celestian Brotherhood, the Ancient and Primitive Rite, Martinism, and the Adoptive Rite, to name but a few. Includes documents and letters never before been published, and an extensive list of Yarker's known works. Discover Yarker's key role in the founding of the Order of the Operatives. Learn about the mysterious Order of the Sat Baha'i, an order that, like the Hermetic Brothers of Egypt, was inspired by the fashionable Orientalism of the period. Explore the Pansophic rites, which celebrate a connection to Yarker through a lineage of orders, and find out all about the Order of Zuzamites, whose members included some of the first Muslim converts in England. The leader of the order was actually the man who opened the first mosque in the UK. So yeah, very, very exciting stuff, right? Okay, only 500 printed, hand embossed, hardback, and as I say, quite excited to find out more about this one. News from Daniel Yates, from Photophrenic. He published a chapbook of poetry some years ago, and he's saying that this long since sold out title has now been reprinted and is available now. You can buy it directly from photophrenic.com. For £10. Poetica is a trinity of poems that serve to guide the reader into a state of orison, to detach from the now and to connect to the other. It's an A6 chapbook format, 54 pages, 29 images. Those of you who know Daniel Yates will know what a consummate photographer he is, and so I'd be very interested in the images in this chapbook as well. Very, very cool stuff. If you like esoteric, occult photography, then you may be interested in his book Arcanum, which was published through Anathema Publisher. Another very, very beautiful book. There we go. You can take a look at that on Anathema Publishing's website. News from Dr. Angela Puka, who has got her book published through Brill Publications, Brill Books, who are not known for their low prices. Yeah, you can see over here that $223.09 is the price for Dr. Puka's book on Amazon right now. It's just academic books. It's and quite specifically academic books from Brill, right? Quite maybe not specifically, but certainly including the Brill books, right? So Shamanism is thriving as an exotic import and a hidden native tradition in Italy today. This ethnographical work uncovers two faces of Italian shamanism. The first is transcultural shamans who creatively adapt rituals and beliefs from indigenous cultures worldwide. And second, extensive field work shows how regional folk magic practices of segnatori, and segnatrici constitute a little-known but enduring form of native Italian shamanism. By documenting these parallel worlds, contemporary magic workers appear to be the heirs of ancient local healing traditions, offering rare insight into vernacular religion. This book vividly portrays shamans past and present on the Italian peninsula. It sounds really fascinating, and I just want to say congratulations to Dr. Puka for publishing, for putting together what really sounds like a very, very interesting. How many do we have? Good few pages, 220 pages. Here we are, and let's see if we've got any reviews yet. No reviews yet, folks. So those of you who can afford the book, go ahead and do leave a review for Dr. Angela Puca's new book, Italian Witchcraft and Shamanism: The Tradition of Segnature. Indigenous and transcultural shamanic traditions in Italy. Very, very nice stuff. Good. So this cropped up in my recommended books, and I was surprised that I didn't know about it. And I say this, but it's not even impossible that I may even have talked about it back in 2022 when this was released, but I just don't remember about it. And suddenly this actually does seem kind of exciting to me. The magical ritual of the Sanctum Regnum, interpreted by the tarot trumps, translated from the manuscripts of Eliphas Levi with 8 plates. So this is it's a republication of a book that's just been out of print for a little while. It's available as a hardcover, as you can see here, as a Kindle edition, and also as a paperback. The hardcover is only $3 more than the paperback. First published in 1896, the magical ritual of the Sanctum Regnum is an interesting dissertation on the ruling of the world by the 7 great archangels, written by Eliphas Levi, a French author of occult literature and ceremonial magician. In this vintage volume, Levi outlines how the world is ruled by one of the 7 archangels, each for a period of 354 years. The archangels are represented by celestial bodies, with Michael being the sun, Gabriel being the moon, Samael Mars, etc. And this volume will appeal to those with an interest in the occult, as not to be missed by collectors of vintage esoteric literature, etc., etc. It's so the contents include the magical ritual of the Sanctum Regnum, the priestess, the empress, the emperor, the pope or hierophant, the lovers, the chariot of Hermes, etc. Many vintage books. Okay, just saying that books can get expensive, and so they're publishing it so that people can get a hold of it. It's got 2 reviews. Didn't get 8 plates in my edition. Returning because they didn't get the 8 plates, and then not sure why I bought it. This book is insane. It transitions back and forth, not really discussing or describing anything. It's bitterly two texts smashed together. So if this is some attempt to place text into another text, it fails miserably. I don't know what that's supposed to be getting at. I'm interested in what the description suggests the book is. And it's hard to say really, whether it's of any value, if those 2 reviews are reasonable reviews or not. But yes, it does seem like that the 2 who left an actual review are not the only ones who left a star rating, and a few people did leave a 5-star rating. So who knows? There's a possibility that if it is what it claims to be, then it could be interesting, right? All right, and then this is an interesting one. There was a question on the Foolish Fish Discord server recently, asking about tarots that were related to the Arthurian legends, and I started looking, and I found this, the Grail Tarot, a Templar vision. So this has been out for a good few years. 2020 was when it was released, but do you know, I liked the look of it so much that I thought I might show you. So the images are in the Renaissance style, and they look very beautiful. The cards are supposed to be a little bit like the Prisma Vision Tarot, where you can place them all out in a long line, and they kind of join together to make a long image. I like this idea of using kind of Grail related imagery for the tarot. It seems to me like those two traditions should really speak to each other quite well. I was looking for some images. It's very difficult to find some good quality images of these cards online, but this is an image that I was able to find on Imgur, and it looks beautiful. It looks very nice. There are a couple of YouTube reviews, YouTube videos. One where the quality of the camera isn't very good, so you can't really see the details. But I was able to find one where the quality was actually quite good. And that looks really pretty to me. Really, really pretty and interesting esoterically. I'm reading Dion Fortune's A Path to the Grail right now, and I'm completely enthralled with the concept, her ideas about the human as the Grail, as the how to say the Christian initiate as the Grail, and her frustrations at the church for not getting this, and looking at this looks just exciting to where I'm at the moment with my whole thinking about esoterica and all of that. Very nice, very nice. So obviously I'll leave links down in the description over here. By the way, I've had a close look. I can't actually see a difference between the paperback here and cards. You can see I've got paperback highlighted here, and it does actually show a bunch of cards, as well as this, which is presumably the book that goes along with it. And then when you click on cards, you get the same picture, just no picture of cards. To me, they both look like the same thing, right? Let's see the ISBN 10 number 63451. And over here we've got a different ISBN number. So I don't know, publisher Red Feather. And over here is publisher St. Martin's Press. So that might actually be the difference. It might actually be the same deck. It's just two different publishers. Hard to say sometimes with Amazon. They do some strange things with their listings. But yeah, anyway, there we go. Let's move on to news from Sara Mastros. So Sara shared with me quite a bit of news this week, and the first bit of news is this Witch Notebooks Volume 1. So this is telling me that there may be other notebooks in the works, and I actually received this notebook from Sara today. Thank you so much, Sara. That was a very kind gift. The idea is that it is simply a notebook, but in the first couple of pages you get the Orphic hymn to Hekate and some suggestions on how to use the notebook. So it's not really a notebook for doing your shopping list. It's a notebook for actually doing ritual work with Hekate. So as I say, you get a suggestion of of an actual ritual, and then you then use the notebook for writing down your thoughts as you perform the ritual, and as you go through the writing down phase of the ritual, and you make your requests, and then it's actually very nice. Let's see, why aren't there notebooks for witches and magicians out there? I know, we can adapt sketchbooks, journals and the like, and there are plenty of witchy notebooks out there for purchase. But what if it were possible to have a notebook for witches and wizards, sorcerers and mages designed by actual practitioners? That's what Sara and I, Monica, asked ourselves, and this Hekate journal is the result. Our Hekate notebook offers all you'd want in a base for your Book of Shadows. It opens with the Orphic hymn to Hekate, includes a meditation using Astrapholos. Flip to the back pages for a Hekate icon you can colour, and information about mugwort, one of her sacred herbs. This Hekate journal will help you strengthen your relationship with the Queen of Witches. Delicate, subtle lines for your writing, so your writing can be the focus. Alternating pages of blank and college rule lines, so you aren't limited by one or the other. Numbered pages and table of contents. Oh, that was quite nice as well. There's an empty table of contents in the first few pages, 3 or 4 pages actually. So you can write a title and then write a page number, so that you can then refer to your rituals and so on. 120-page notebook, versatile designs, etc. Compact size, durable, soft cover. It's print on demand, basically. Encourages creativity and self-expression through writing, drawing, and doodling. So just to give you an idea, it is print on demand. The majority of the book is just lined pages and blank pages, numbered, of course. There's about, there's about 5 or 6 pages of actual text, including an image for colouring in, and yes, it really is a tool for your Hekate focused meditations and practices. And as I say, there is a very nice practice included. Sarah also suggested this this t-shirt this shirt, the short sleeve shirt, which made me smile. And of course, why has nobody thought about this before? A Jupiter button-up pocket shirt for your Jupiterian rites. In lots of different sizes over here. You can. I'll leave a link down below, but I thought that was quite a cool idea. Of course, if you're going to do a Jupiterian ritual, being dressed up as Jupiter, as the planet Jupiter itself, is an obvious idea that I just hadn't thought of. And Sarah's going to actually be at Watkins Books in just a few days now. I think it's on the 27th of June. Yes, so a couple of weeks. 27th of June 2024 at 5 o'clock. If you're going to be in London at around that time, do pop over to Watkins Books. You'll need to arrive just a few minutes early, of course, to get a good seat and find out. Go and listen to Sara talking about the Sorcery of Solomon, her fantastic new book. Very Nice stuff. So, and of course, if you're going to be in London around that time, actually about a week earlier, Doug Batchelor is going to be at Treadwell's Books, just up the road, a little bit closer to the British Museum. The presenter of What Magic Is This talks magic books and angels summoning on the Treadwell's sofa. Drinks follow, and This is an event, so let's see. Grimoire magic is the use of old written grimoires to summon spirits, cast circles, create consecrated tools, and more. In this live with an audience event, Doug Batchelor joins Christina on the Treadwell sofa to discuss how he came to be an active practitioner on this tradition. He describes his knowledge, his occult adventures, throughout the last 19 years and how the Greek magical papyri were his gateway drug into magic. He also importantly explains how he went from only reading grimoires to actually carrying out the actions described in them, and everyone has the chance to ask questions after the initial discussion and a soiree in the shop floor. On the shop floor, with complimentary drinks to follow. So that's just a week earlier. So that's just in a few days. So it's next week. It's 20th of June, 2024 at 7 p.m. So some very exciting stuff happening in London over the next few weeks. Good. And so this is going to be my final segment today. It was a bit of news that was brought to me by Alchemical Healer, pointing out that the Great Wen is going to be Alan Moore's new series of books, and it's coming out. The first volume is coming out in October, so I think that's the same month as his bumper book of magic is due to come out. And just looking at the blurb over here, Dennis Knuckleyard is a hapless 18-year-old who works and lives in a second-hand bookstore. One day his boss and landlady Coffin Ada sends him to retrieve some rare books, one of which, Dennis discovers, should not exist. A London Walk by Reverend Thomas Hampool is a fictitious book that appears in a real novel by another author, yet a London Walk is physically there in his hands nonetheless. It sounds very Lovecraftian to me. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun, as Alan Moore's books can be. So that is coming out in October, and looking forward to reading a little bit of fiction, or magic infused fiction. Let's go with that. There we go. That's the news that I have for you this week. Thank you ever so much for watching. Once again, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you'd like to support the channel, then there's a Patreon, and the links for that are down below. And if you'd like to have a one-to-one conversation with me so I can read your tarot, or if you'd like to get some recommendations, some book recommendations, or whatever recommendations for your particular path, wherever you may be spiritually, esoterically, or whatever you want to talk about with me, then we can talk about it for an hour. You can find links to do that down below as well. And that's it from me for today, and thank you so much for watching once again. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon with another video. See you. Bye.